All right, we're live. Welcome to the Shape of Horror podcast. I'm Bud. We're going to talk about a little bit of Scream 7 tonight. There's a little bit of news out, I guess. Highly speculative news, but I think they're on to something, and I'm pretty happy about one of these things. So I'm going to go through each of those, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about theories and rumors, all that stuff. So, hello, everybody. Joseph the Horror Guy, I see you're in there. Looks like we got a couple of us watching. I'm gonna get my little slide presentation. I don't want to forget about that. Uh, Man, it's been a pretty crazy week already. It's fucking hump day. Uh, Coming up to the end of the summer. We have blue moons out there. It's pretty fucking crazy time. Want to send out some thoughts and prayers to a couple of people. I won't mention them by name, but I want them to know that I'm thinking about them. I know I was originally scheduled to do the Halloween Resurrection retrospective. If you follow my channel, if not, hold on. This is your first time, and you end up liking this. I've done Halloween's 2 through H2O. I've done retrospectives where I've about an hour long. We go through the whole movie, talk about some behind the scenes shit. Just really, you know, praise the movie if it's worthy, and then beat the shit out of it if it's not. And I think thus far, it's pretty even in terms of loving and beating the shit. But Halloween Resurrection, I've decided to do something special for that. And I'm kind of waiting for all of that to come together before I do it to make it a lot of fun because there's going to be a lot of beating the shit out of Halloween Resurrection. Just be honest. But like I said, if you like what you see here, you want to go back and watch those, please hit the like and subscribe button. Enable the notifications so you don't miss these live streams. Um, Sorry about my voice. I had a little bit of the COVID. Started up about Thursday. Finally got over it mostly yesterday. So yeah, I had a COVID again. Oddly, exactly 1 year after I had it the first time, but I'm doing better. Well, you guys ready to get into some Scream 7 stuff? Joseph the Horror Guy, welcome. Bud, Josh the Horror Guy, I'm watching you in 4K. You look like Tom Cruise in 4K. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. Allie Girl, welcome. Yeah, happy Wednesday. Players for people and hate hurricanes. That's one of the things. All right, so let's get into Scream 7. So, a couple of reputable people, YouTubers, Twitter people on they've the last couple of days we know Scream 7 is coming. Don't know that it's going to be called Scream 7, so this logo is obviously tentative. Who the fuck knows if it's going to have the Scream 7 or the Roman numerals, whatever. But we know that Christopher Landon is coming back to direct. Uh, Firmly believe that the script was done before the writer's strike. I think the same guys that scripted Scream 6, scripting Scream 7. Uh, we heard initially that they were going to film in Montreal again, which kind of signaled that, perhaps they were going to go back to New York City. Some people were kind of giddy over the prospect of the Ghostface killing in snow. I'm not one of those. I don't want to go back to New York City. I don't think they did New York City right. Didn't feel like New York City. Certainly didn't have any New Yorkers, but a bunch of Canadians pretending to be angry New Yorkers, but no accents. I don't know if they went for that intentionally. I know it's hard when you're in Montreal to recreate New York City, but I think they should have at least done something there other than, like the shot I'm showing here where they fly a drone over the city, shots of the Brooklyn Bridge or whatever the fuck it is that they show. And they had a scene with the subway, but that was it. No New Yorkers, no New York pizza, not a lot of cabs. I mean, just didn't really feel like New York. But we found out that those rumors about them filming in New York, or sorry, Montreal, apparently are not true. They are not going back to Montreal to shoot Scream 7. It is undetermined, according to, you guys know Craven, Craven something scary. He busted this whole thing about radio silence not being back. I recommend you go give him a follow or watch his videos. He's gonna have Christopher Landon on his channel for an interview, I believe, sometime next month. So he's a good guy if you want to get good Scream 7 information. Good guy to go and follow. And then another YouTuber named Critical Overlord. You might have seen him. He's all over Twitter. He like posts on Twitter all day. But he had a lot of stuff with Scream 6. I mean, he had a lot of stuff. And he has come out today to say that Nev Campbell may have already have her deal done. Might have it done before the writer's strike and all that. Like it was a package deal with Christopher Landon or whatever. I think they have the script ready. But apparently Nev Campbell's coming back for Scream 7, which I think is the right thing. Another shout out. There's Nick Push. Welcome, Nick Push. I want to give a shout out to Wes Craven, the guy who kind of the Godfather, I guess I would say. Who's the Godfather? Let's go to the chat. Who's the Godfather of the Scream franchise? Is it Kevin Williams or is it Wes Craven? But Wes Craven, he died sadly 8 years ago today. It feels like he hasn't been gone that long. It's kind of crazy to me how fast time is flying. But love you, Wes Craven. But yeah, what do you guys think? Nev Campbell's going to be back. Do you think this is the right choice, or should they just stick to the core fucking four, leave Nev Campbell on the sidelines? Gail Weathers, I'm assuming she's going to be back. We really don't know. I mean, they said she was at the hospital and still alive, but who knows? I mean, maybe she's just died the next day. I don't know. I think they're both going to be back. Let's just cut the shit. But yeah, let's see what the chat. Joseph the Horror Guy says Wes Craven. Joe, welcome to the chat. Joe, 0 the 14th, man. Probably the best retro gamer in history. The guy did a speed run on Contra, beat the whole game with one life. He didn't do the up, up, down, down, left, right. The guy did it. I probably pulled my hair out and broke many controllers trying to do it. I know I never did it as a kid, so good job, Joe. But he has to give it a nod to Wes Craven here. Let's see here. I don't see anybody else. I wonder what Nick Push is probably gonna be right down the middle and say it both of them equally. 'Cause that's what he does. So yeah, Sidney Prescott's back. Probably not filming in Montreal. So if you guys watched the Shape of Horror podcast, before I get into my theories, I just want to show you, point out a couple of videos. I did a bunch of Scream short 5-minute videos, so you can go back and watch these. These are the thumbnails from those. So some of the ideas that I'm hearing bandied about for this next one, Scream 7, we know that I've mentioned it many times, me and Nick, they followed a pattern since they brought Scream back at Scream 5 with the new trilogy that Radio Silence directed the first two, and they're going to be producing the next one. So they're still involved. But they've been following a distinct pattern with these films that they've made. Scream 5 went back to Woodsboro, all the way back to the beginning, back to Billy Loomis. Samantha being Billy Loomis's out of wedlock. Well, no, they were high schoolers. Of course, they were out of wedlock. Anyway, Billy's supposedly Samantha's father. And then Scream 6, they went to college just like Scream 2. So they're following a pattern, which I've been talking about. So that brings us to Scream 7. So if they're not going to be in New York City, which I think is amazing, the most exciting thing that kind of is bringing me around to be excited about Scream 7, because Scream 6 is not worn. It's not ranked high. I think it's the worst one at this point. I think when you rank them all, Scream 6 is last. But Scream 7, so in Scream 3, let's see, I talked about my theories here. There's some also thought this one right here, okay, these 2 videos right here, the theory about Gale Weathers. So, in Scream 3, you guys know they kind of shined attention onto Stab 3 and took us in to the Hollywood production. They took us to Hollywood, right there on the set with all of the actors, actresses that were in the movie. They were the victims, they were killed off in the order of the script for Stab. So I floated the theory way back January, before the movie ever came out, before we even really knew anything. We knew all the new characters, we knew Kirby was back, but I floated a theory. This was my Gale Weathers theory that, Sydney wasn't back for Scream 6. We knew that. So I thought of this idea where, if Sydney's not the target, she's out of the picture. What about Gale Weathers? What if this is all about Gale Weathers? And let me cut. I did this video, I think, in December of last year. It was news tidbits, trailer soon before the trailer came out. And I called 2 of the killers in this video. If you go back and watch it, I nailed the 2 killers. 2 of the killers. We didn't know there were going to be 3 yet. But I nailed 2 of the killers, which were because they stuck out like a sore thumb in all of the behind the scenes stills that we saw at the shrine and all that. Detective Bailey and Ethan, I called them out right from the get go. And then, like 3 weeks, I think the trailer came out. We learned of the shrine in the trailer, and then I did this video here, the theory about Gale Weathers, where I tied the whole fucking thing together. I had the killers pegged because I said, I picked. We found out that Quinn, you guys remember Quinn? We found out that she's Detective Bailey's daughter at this point. So I tied this all together that these 2, Ethan and the detective, were killing these people, and their motive was they're going to help their daughter, Quinn, who's going to college. We know she's a college friend of theirs, but she wanted to be the next Gale Weathers. So that was my theory. It was a true crime theory. I thought that was a good theory. And the world thought it was a good theory too. But so that brings us back to Scream 7, parallel with Scream 3. In Scream 3, it was all about Stab. So what if, and Craven brought this up in one of his videos too. So I just want to point out that I had it way before. I thought of this true crime shit way before. But say everybody's getting together to do their parts in the true crime documentary. That's a thing. So where that location is, it could be Hollywood, it could be anywhere. I guess it could still even be in New York City to a degree. Let's say they all come together because you have to bring Sydney, Gale, the core fucking 4 all back together. And then you can kind of sprinkle some new characters, maybe the cast and crew or the crew of the documentary. Maybe you could sprinkle them in there. So it gives you more red herrings, more suspects. And then on the periphery, we have Samantha and Tara's mother. I think that's someone they kind of need to bring into this. They've talked about her plenty. We learned in Scream 6 that they're obviously estranged. Appears that their mother has secrets. She fucked Billy Loomis, maybe had his kid. So that brings me to the theory. Hold on here. Let me put this up here. Yeah, this is a little screen. I love this shot from Scream 3 where we get to finally see the voice changer. Remember Billy's voice changer? His was kind of a basic bitch voice changer, like you get it, Spirit Halloween. But no, this one right here, I like it. They made this shit high tech. Love it. There's of course Stab 3 in production. I love that. I've Scream 3 rising up the ranks, like I said. Let's get to the chat here. What did I miss here? Damn, Gail Weathers. Yeah, Scott, welcome to the chat. Gail Weathers. Yeah, she's going to be 60 years old. School starts tomorrow for Joe for the kids. Man, my wife, she's a school teacher. She's been teaching, like, they've been in session for 3 weeks at this point. Crazy that you guys are starting this late, but that's Texas for you. We gotta be bigger and better, or I don't know. That's all I have for the chat so far, but where was I? Where was I? Production. I don't know. Maybe they go back to Stab. I don't know. Seems kinda I think Ali mentioned a couple streams back that Stab's been done to death, so maybe it's time. Like, this true crime documentary would be the perfect thing. This gets everybody back together. But so you throw in Mrs. Loomis, or not Mrs. Loomis. What's her, whatever Samantha's mother's name is, whatever. You can bring her in there, she's there for the documentary. Like, it's a good making a documentary about this shit is a good way to get Samantha's mother. Maybe she's surprise. Maybe they don't know she's going to be there, but the documentary makers, filmmakers make it a big surprise. Yeah, Sam, mommy's back. Kind of breakdown. But what we know about Scream 3, there's another one. There's another one where I did could true crime fanatics be the killers? So if you go back and look at the dates on these things, I wrote the book on this. I wrote the book on this theory. So, not to toot my own horn. They just watch blood, they'd save time. And I really, they could really kind of I feel like another Scream 6 problem. They had this cool ghost face shrine. Is it me, or do you guys think that this whole thing was kind of wasted a little bit? I know the final act went down, but man, just I just don't buy that Richie's the one that put this whole thing together. I just don't buy it. Doesn't make sense. Like, on a cop's salary, on Detective Bailey's salary? No. Come on. Let's see here. So where was I? We're on this, doing this documentary. So here's where things I think get interesting. Let me see here. There's Samantha Carpenter here. So we know Scream 3, Randy lays out the rules. So if they're following the pattern of Scream 3, we know that it goes back, it's going to go circle back to the beginning, and we're going to find out that something we thought was true is not true. So here's my theory. Samantha learned of this out of a diary. So, is this really definitive? Are we just taking the word of the diary? Like, that's why I want to hear the mom's side. Maybe Samantha's been being fucked with from the jump on this whole thing. Made just made to believe that she's Billy's daughter. So your question is, who could be doing this? Who could go through all of the trouble? And who's been there from the beginning, by the way? Who could go be the mastermind behind this that has been just tormenting Samantha into believing that perhaps she is Billy Loomis's dad, to the point where she's seeing visions and shit, playing with her mind. It seems like Samantha, I talked a little bit on a prior stream. I think it was Take It to the Grave, episode 4, perhaps. Me and Nick talked about Scream 7. I think that's when Christopher Landon was. Stu has nothing to do with this. There will be no Stu part of this theory. See, now you threw me off track by fucking pissing me off with the Stu shit. I don't want Stu. They can't bring Stu back. Stu's dead. It's done. It's finished. So Samantha thinks she's Billy's daughter. Someone, a little bit of backstory, and then they bring her who she thought was her father, the one that left them when they were kids. Maybe they can bring that guy back too, whoever that is. I don't know how they can tie it. Like, there could be a couple of people in Scream. I suppose they could tie them back to. I don't know. No Cotton either. Sorry, I would love for it to be Cotton either. So the question of my theory is, somebody obviously set this off into motion. Do you really think it was Richie and Amber? Do we really think Richie's that fucking smart of a guy to be the one that set this whole thing off? I don't think so. 'Cause there's a couple of things. If you go back to Scream 5. So at the very beginning of Scream 5, the opening scene, we're conditioned, we think, that the opening scene is gonna be big, right? It's gonna be the big death. They had, they kind of faked this out in Scream 4 where they had, you know, the stab intro deaths, whatever. But they still had a death. So Scream 5 was different. Opening scene was not a death scene. Of course, we know Tara Carpenter. She took the phone call and did the talk with Ghostface, found out, her mom is in therapy. So they, little track laying. But Tara gets attacked and she survives. And then for the rest of the movie, Tara is basically in the hospital. And they make this big old to do about her inhaler. You know, Crazy enough, do you think she could really survive those wounds? Well, she did, but maybe we know that Billy and Stu were gonna stab each other. I think Jill and Charlie had that same plan where they were gonna fuck each other up. So what if the mastermind behind this? Here, I love Roman Bridger. There's only gonna be one killer in my Scream 7. I think they need to go back, have it just one killer. So who is gonna be the person who masterminded this whole thing? Well, so like I was talking about Tara, she survived the opening, the only person to ever survive the opening. Conveniently. Uh, let's think about setting up the final act. Richie knew about her inhaler. Richie got his hands on her inhaler. Maybe, conveniently tied up in the closet, out of the action until the very end. So what I'm saying is, I don't want Samantha to be the evil killer. I don't want her pitted against Sydney. I want her to be the one that's pitted. Like Tara is the mastermind of this whole thing. Let's think about it. Tara's the crazy one. Samantha's not the crazy one. I think Tara is the one. I think she knew all along. Maybe she even put that bullshit in the diary. I don't know. But I don't like Tara as much as I like Samantha. And I feel like this movie has to go one of three ways. Number one, Samantha's full heel pitted against Sydney for this whole movie. I think you have to either have that Sydney versus Samantha, Samantha getting revenge for Billy's death, whatever. And then this other way is you have to have a overarching mastermind from the beginning. Something we thought was true but wasn't true. This is a concluding chapter of this trilogy. So it has to be big. And why not Tara? I know she's a little bit young in the versions of Scream 5. She's still in high school. But Billy Loomis, he was a psycho. Maybe been set on the path by Roman. I don't know. Maybe someone set her on this path. Maybe dad. I don't know. But what do you guys think? Who would you, if someone had to turn evil and be the killer in Scream 7, would you rather it be Tara or Samantha? Let's go to that. I maybe didn't lay this out pretty well. I'm just doing it on the fly. I didn't write anything down on this. Just did the pictures and I'm doing it on the fly. What do you guys think of Tara being the person who set this whole thing into motion to fuck with her sister and pit her against Sidney Prescott? I mean, it lines up conveniently in Scream 5. She survives the opening. Richie somehow figures out that she has asthma and can't go fucking 5 minutes without it. The reason to get over to Amber's, like she said, "Oh, I have one at Amber's." conveniently. Like, if I were almost stabbed to death, like, how would you even remember that there's one? Like, why not just turn around, fuck around, and go back to the hospital? She was quick to put it out there that, "Hey, I have one at Amber's house." And how could she not know that Amber lives in fucking Stu's old house? It just doesn't This shit doesn't make sense. Like, so many fucking plot holes. Am I, like, taking their plot holes just so fucking literal that I'm Tara only used her inhaler once briefly in 6. That's a good point, Scott. I just think Tara, like Jenna Ortega, I would love to see her turn on crazy killer. Look, she looks a little crazy right here. She's like, look at her. I don't know. Maybe Tara might be the killer. Tara. So the Real Dead thinks that Tara would be. I think uh, Melissa Barrera. She's done such a great job as Samantha. Like, so good that I don't want to see her take a turn. But either they're gonna have one of these. What I'm saying is, either Samantha or Tara is gonna have to be the fucking villain at the end of this trilogy. I think they have to go there. I don't think you need a core fucking 4. I'm good with the core 3. We had it all this time with Gail, Dewey, Sydney, the core 3. But I'd love to see Sydney and Tara be, maybe they're kind of Sydney's like, maybe this bitch is evil just like her dad. Like, they're being pitted against each other, but at the end of the day, they're being pitted against each other by Tara. What do you guys think? Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Allie, or Real Dead. Sam is too obvious. Let's see here, Nick. Let's get really meta and get Anna Faris in here. Oh, maybe. Like, I'm excited about the the people that could be cast in some of these roles. It's Christopher Landon. He's worked with some really talented actors and actresses. If you've seen any of those movies, Happy Death Day, and what was that other one we talked about? Freaky. Thanks, Joseph. I appreciate it. So yeah, I haven't gone very long here, and I've already fucking raced through everything I wanted to do. About almost 30 minutes. Is there any? So let me ask the chat. Is there anybody? What about Mindy and Chad? They could all obviously dip back into that well and kind of throw us off and have the twins be the masterminds. That would be pretty fucking crazy. That would be the ultimate heel turn. Would be Chad, right? But he conveniently both of those motherfuckers conveniently always survive. Like, perhaps, like, you could write yourself out of some of this bullshit with the people taking all these stabbings and just crazily surviving. You could probably write your way out of some of that if you make either the twins the killers or, you know, I don't know. Tara, she looked like that shit would be fatal to anybody. Josh, the horror guy, Chad turning heel would be cool, man. Yeah. I think we've killed off a legacy character. I think what's the harm in having one of the core fucking 4 be evil? What's the harm in that? Real Dead doesn't like the idea of Chad being the killer. What about Chad and Mindy together though? I just don't think if one of them I just feel like both of them would have to be in on it. Like, both or none. Slash Zone has a channel. I'm gonna go check it out and follow you. I'll sub you on Twitter. The new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You like the new one? Or you did a review on the the Netflix one? Yeah, man, that movie was so good until Sally Hardesty just showed up out of nowhere. Totally cringe on that. But yeah, the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre was mostly decent, I will say. Need to find this town in Texas where they Leatherface hid for 30 years. There's nobody there. That's kind of what I need. Texas, man, everybody's moving here. Mindy could be cool. Somehow got to get a Randy motive in there. Yeah, and you also have Martha Meeks. You know, Mindy and Chad's mother. Maybe they could bring her back. Like, I feel like, you know, you could have Stu's sister or whatever. Like, look, think about this true crime. Can't I'm talking so fast. True crime documentary. Let's think of the possibilities of the people they could bring together for this, for a true crime documentary. Let's see here. Let's see here. Frank Gonzalez. Maybe she's a secret mastermind since it was hinted at in 6 at the end. Who are we talking about? Mindy or one of the core fucking 4? I need to stop saying that. Just the core 4 will work. Mindy would work best. It would kind of might get robbed by Mindy talking to Ghostface. Remember Scream 2, Randy talked with Ghostface? Like, I think they're really setting Mindy up for that moment. So they better pay that off. Terrifier 2, yes. I think both are coming to theaters. Won't be around where I live. And they wouldn't put that here too. People don't they don't ever release anything good here, really. Let's see, what did Nick say? Mindy would work best. I don't know. It has to be Tara. I keep throwing out my shot. So I'm just saying, told you if you go back and watch my videos on Scream 6, could true crime fanatics be the killers? News tidbits, trailer soon, and theories. And these 3 videos, I called out the killers. So I really thought because of the shrine here that they were really leaning in to the true crime stuff, because I mean, true crime is the thing. We see all the documentaries, you see the Datelines, Netflix documentaries. This is a real thing, and it's a real popular thing, and you know, I really do think it's a nice little playground for them, which they haven't touched. It's not Stab, but it's still a thing that brings everybody together somehow, somewhere. Other locales, we could go back to Woodsboro, I suppose. They could do the documentary in Woodsboro. I don't know. What about Las Vegas? They could also touch on the Comic-Con convention thing. Like, they haven't really touched on that in Scream. So, I mean, that's another possibility. Comic-Con conventions, true crime. What are some others? I don't think we need to go back to Stab, but I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe they will. Any other places they could take Screams? Any ideas? I know I said Vegas. I guess they could go on like a cruise ship. I don't know. Cruise ship. What? Sydney lives in Seattle, we found out. So now we know where Scream 7 in West Baltimore. Shit. Could do a crossover with what's that show? The Wire. Halloween 4 in theaters. Halloween 4 does come to theaters. You need to, I don't know where you live, Joseph, but every year a theater they take them around. The original Halloween, and I've seen Halloween 4 and 5 together. So keep your eye out. It could happen. Does anybody play the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game? It just came out. You can play it on Xbox, PlayStation. I know Joe. Joe, have you played it yet? His favorite horror movie is Halloween 4 as well. Loves Jamie Lloyd and Rachel Carruthers. Let's see here. No different tales in Woodsboro. There are so many Ghostface killings happening. Is that, yeah? I'm just trying to think of. I don't know. Maybe they do. They're filming Stab in fucking Montreal. I don't know. Maybe they could do that. That would be meta. They could do that. Joseph, have a good night. Yeah, go watch all 3. They're from probably December, January, February, and they're all like 5 minutes long. So You can go back and see that I was ahead of the game. I was a whole movie ahead. I don't know. So let's see here. Ali, you're a big Terrifier fan. Stan. I watched the first Terrifier. I have the second one on 4K Blu-ray. Man, just haven't gotten to it. I just got Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky in 4K. Completed my Child's Play collection. I'll tear into those and get back to you guys on the quality. I'm sure it's going to be good. Let's see here. Real Dead, hoping to meet some of the cast from Scream in November. I guess you're going to one of the cons. I hope you do. Uh, I know a couple of my other viewers, James Morant, Entertainment Wizard, and I think Josh the horror guy, he's a big convention guy. So I always wanted to do that. I know Halloween 45th anniversary is next month. Hoping we get to hear. I don't think we will, but maybe they'll announce something. Maybe a video game, a Halloween video game. Let's see here. I just got a new shirt from what's this Gutter Garbs. Let's stand up so you guys can see it. Let me get this shit off here so you can see it better. The Roy Friday the 13th 5 shirt. Love this one. It's probably my favorite one that I've gotten from Gutter Garbs. I have so many. I have Halloween, one of the Halloween shirts, one of the Halloween 2 shirts coming, and I got a nice collection going. Got some Jaws 3, Jaws 2, couple of OG Friday the 13th. We really do need a Halloween game. I think they need to get on that. I know a Ghostface video game. So the people that make the Ghostface mask, they're not going to be like a Scream video game, but I've noticed that Ghostface as a brand itself is starting to become a thing. So they're doing a board game with Fright Rags. I think it's Fright Rags. Fright Rags has a Halloween 2 board game. I don't know. I got it. It'll be here, I think, in December. I've never played. I think they've done a couple others. I think they did. Was it Black Christmas or maybe My Bloody Valentine? I think they've made 3, but they're like original board games that they've come up with. And I did they crowdfund for them. So I think the Ghostface crowdfund comes really soon. So if you love Ghostface, be on the lookout for that. But Ghostface, I think maybe they might do a video game just with Ghostface. I wouldn't be called Scream, but Ghostface. Let's see here. Prey, I just did a blind buy. It's coming out on 4K Blu-ray. I'll have that in October. I have not seen it. I've heard it's fantastic, but I will get back to everybody on that as well. Ali says Prey was great, so yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Looking forward to that. I have so much shit coming. I had to buy a new shelf that holds 500 Blu-ray, cases. Let me tell you what I have in the pike. Scream 3 is coming. So next week I have Night of the Comet. You guys ever remember that movie? Came out in the 80s. It's kind of like a comet comes by and then everybody's evaporated and only like a certain number of people have survived. It's 80s movie, total 80s movie. I'm getting that. Let's see, what else do I have? I have Scream 3 coming. I have Rosemary's Baby. These are all in 4K. I'm a huge 4K guy. Wish I could explain it. I'm going to have to maybe start doing 4K reviews so you guys understand. Big physical media guy. All my VHSs are probably thrown in a dump, like in a junkyard or landfill somewhere, sadly. But I have this thing where I just have to experience movies in the highest quality and how they were intended to be seen. And we have the technology at home. That's what sucks is if you have the money, you can get your own setup that's, I won't lie and say it's not as good as the movies, but you can have your own little theater right in your house and watch the shit in high quality. Best sound, best picture. A lot of you probably have 4K TVs and you don't even realize the capabilities that this TV can put out with this 4K content. You don't even know because you probably just stream fucking YouTube. You probably stream butt on there and it doesn't look good. You don't know what your TVs can do until you get all the equipment. Physical media is so important. It is because, this shit, all these movies could disappear from streaming. Streaming itself as a business is not proven to be a very profitable model for these studios. So, they're gonna start shopping these things around. Like Friday the 13th, the whole Paramount uh run, I think it's 1 through 8, they're gonna be on HBO Max next month. How much does the average 4K disc cost? Okay, that's good. So, a couple things you need to know. I would say they average $27. Now, you're thinking, but I can't spend $27 for a fucking 4K Blu-ray disc as much as I do. I mean, I'm doing pretty good, and I haven't even gotten through everything I have coming. I'll get back to that. But yeah, I would say about if for new movies, I'd say about $27. But there's a couple of things. There's Black Friday. Basically, from Black Friday all the way through Christmas, you can get really good fucking deals on 4K discs. And that's where Shout Factory, they do a lot of sales. They do a lot of like your premium. They did all the Halloweens through Resurrection in 4K. I mean, they're doing like Bloody Valentine comes out next month. I have that on the way. Black Christmas, they have like all the Child's Plays. Next year, Nightmare on Elm Street 40th anniversary. That's all coming in 4K. Yeah, and another thing, Allie, I just don't have the room. Well, I'm getting a shelf and it holds about 600 Blu-ray cases. And it's about, I don't know, 6 feet tall and about, I don't know, about 3 feet wide. And then I have another case right behind me. You guys look right over here. That holds probably about 200 Blu-rays right there. That's full. And so when I get this new one, I'm gonna have a shit ton of more room. So what else do I have coming? Hellraisers 1 and 2. I think I think there's 4 of them. 4 of the Hellraisers coming to 4K. Psycho 1, 2, 3, 4, all coming to 4K Blu-ray. Have that on the way. The Exorcist 50th anniversary. Have that on the way, among other things. But there are boutique 4K. They get these old movies. They ask the studios for all these old film elements. Sometimes they find the original stuff. Sometimes it's a little incomplete. But you're seeing movies you would have never even fucking dreamed being scanned in 4K and put out. Like there was one. Shit, man. What's a good? I can't even think of the movie, but man, it's a movie you wouldn't even movies you wouldn't even think they're coming to 4K Blu-ray. They don't stream them, but man, I wish I just Dutch in 4K. Not yet. Dutch sadly is stalled out. It doesn't even have a Blu-ray. It's stalled out. But Nick, you need to get back with me. I have your copy. I found a copy for you. I need to send that to you. Let's see. I could have owned my own Blockbuster chain at one time. Yeah, I could do that. I could do that. What else? What else is coming? There's some others. I said Nightmare on Elm Street next year. I think I saw was another franchise that you wouldn't think. Like Creep Show just came out. Shout Factory did Creep Show. The mini series is coming next year. Rocky Horror Picture Show 50th anniversary. Can't believe it. But yeah, they're syncing these things up with anniversaries. Black Christmas in 4K. I don't. It really takes the date off a lot of these older movies, like Halloween H2O in 4K. Took all of that 90s date off. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, Slash Zone. It's nice to meet you. I'll be looking for your channel. In fact, let me do that now. Well, I'll just do it after. I will sub you though. Thanks for tuning in. Anybody wanna bring anything else up? Man, I've been rambling on for 45 minutes now. I'm about have all the time in that I blocked out for this, but Dutch in 4K. What's another one? They just did Weird Science in 4K. Mallrats. Remember that movie from the 90s? Took the date off of that one. Crazy. Pretty in Pink is I think they have that in 4K. JFK is coming out. Just watched a couple months like Jaws 2 came out a couple of months in 4K. Never looked better. Yeah, Black Christmas. Yeah, watching it in 4K really improved my opinion on the movie. It really did. Okay, so Clue is not in 4K, but Clue in regular Blu-ray, fantastic transfer. Some of these on the Blu-rays, they put all these special features on these discs with the movie, and what that does, instead of putting all the special features on the disc 2, what they do is they put the movie and the special features on one disc. Well, the thing about Clue is it doesn't have a lot of special features, but the Blu-ray has all 3 endings. You can watch it'll randomize the endings for you, and then you can watch where it has all 3. So the lack of special features, they can really use all of that disk space to get better files for the movie, and it's really good quality. Like some of these Blu-rays, probably they don't ever need if they have the room and put a good file in there, good scan. Clue has a good one. So if you see that on Blu-ray, sometimes you can see that for $5. Pick that up. But I have a feeling that Clue will definitely get a 4K. They are giving everything a 4K transfer. I don't. It must be picking up. I don't know. Like I saw the other day, Officer and a Gentleman 4K transfer. Who would ask for that in 4K? But they did it. Wouldn't surprise me. Like Curse of Chucky in 4K. Leprechaun in the Hood's probably coming in 4K, guys. That's how there are companies out there that are willing to ask for the license, and they'll do all the work. They'll invest all the money and restore these movies. And like I said, sometimes the results aren't always great because they don't find all of the film elements. But man, Black Christmas, Nick, I know he's a big fan. Tomorrow, Dylan's Nightmare is coming out. Dave McRae, he's playing Freddy Krueger, and that's premiering tomorrow. That's why I wanted to get this in today, because that's all anybody's going to be talking about. Alley, Officer and a Gentleman is so good. God, it's boring. Dreadfully boring. And I don't like Richard Gere. I love Deborah Winger, but I don't like Richard Gere. Ever since he shoved the gerbil up his ass. Let's call back to Scream, guys. This is the whole gerbil thing. All right, everybody. I think I'm going to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Sorry, my didn't get my theory out the way I would. Oh, Blake, welcome to the chat. Sleeping with the Enemy in 4K. Jake would love that. Like he did a live stream, I think, of Sleeping with the Enemy, and for one of his final live streams was a fucking watch party for Sleeping with the Enemy. Crazy. Thanks for tuning in, Joe. I need to get you back on here. What would I have you on here for? I'm gonna have to think about that. I should have had you on for Halloween 4, but I did that like 5 months ago. Let's see, he did. But yeah, I apologize if my theory didn't come out. Like I didn't write anything down. I just wanted to fucking do it by memory. I should have just, I don't know. I may revisit that in a 5-minute special one of these days. But I think it's worth considering. One of the core fucking 4 being evil, being the mastermind. But yeah, everybody's excited. Blake, you show up at the very end, man. But Thoughts and prayers to you, man. Thoughts and prayers. Scripts are overrated. Yeah. All right, everybody. I'm gonna call it a night. I'll see you guys on the next one. It'll probably be a couple of weeks. I said I'm working on something special for Halloween Resurrection. I hope it all comes together. It's all about a schedule thing. So I'm gonna hold off until this can come together. But please hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Please like my stream. I see 8 people watching. Hit the like button. Help me get into the algorithm. These things have been doing pretty good. But good night, everybody. I'll see you guys on the next one.